interview, the personality test. So how was your experience? Who was your board member? What type of questions they asked you, Darpan? When was your interview?
So my interview was fortunately before the pandemic took over the country. It was on 23rd of Feb. And I was with the Air Marshal Bhonsle sir's boat. And it was indeed a very cordial one. So I think the personality test stage is like the honeymoon stage of the whole UPSC journey. So I used to enjoy it a lot. And coming to the what questions and how the experience was, I had a very holistic interview, as in questions were asked to me from science and tech, medical ethics, human relations, and from international relations also. And other than that, I think one should mention in the DAF whatever one is comfortable with, because if you spice up, you can really spice up your interview with personal examples. Like you cannot lead the interviewer, but if there is something which really pikes his or her interest, then you will get brownie points because you'll be able to explain it better. So for example, in my case, I was working with an NGO. So we talked, which is related to women. So we talked a lot on women empowerment, equity, and I was able to give very superb examples, which I think would have really increased the marks of my PT this time.
Did they ask questions related to COVID, because you are a doctor, related to coronavirus? They asked some questions. Is it figuring out in your interview or not?
So during that time, it was before the last week of Feb as well. So during that time, I wasn't asked any questions. But around medical science, yes, but okay, not particularly to COVID.
So there was no direct question related to coronavirus. Okay, fine. So what about you, Shubhamji? When was your interview scheduled? And it is prior to COVID or after this last patch of July?
My interview was prior to COVID on February 19th with Sujata Mehta Madam's board. And it was a very cordial interview. The interview was on somewhat expected lines. I had a lot of questions related to Reserve Bank of India operations functions and all the related news. And also there's convergence of geography and Uttarakhand. So a lot of questions were asked regarding it. But there were some bouncers as well. For example, we had detailed discussions on startups. I do not know where it came from, but we had a discussion. They also asked me a lot on my hobbies, movies, football, all those things. So I think if one is true in their DAF and they know themselves well, it can give a huge benefit. That is all there to it.
Sometimes the board is unpredictable, like you said, on startups, and it happens. Is there any question related to Corbett National Park or the Himalayan ecosystem? Because since you are from Ramnagar, the entry point to Corbett National Park.
I had a lot of these questions on wildlife conservation, even the tree conservation, and Uttarakhand floods. So we had a lot of questions, and I also tried to give personal examples from my own city, from not on a broad level, but even micro examples, which at least show that I am observant. I can observe things, and from my personal life. So I had no trouble defending them.